and I'm going to be talking why I think this season of Love Island has been the worst season I've seen. So first, I think that there was an issue with production. Usually when there is issues with couples sticking together, meaning there's a lack of exploration, usually they are quick to send in bombshells that look like the person's type. And they did do that once or twice, but in general, I just feel like this season lacked with a lot of excitement and energy when it comes to new people coming in. It was very much like everyone wanted to stick together and see it through to the end. And of course, there are couples that stick together, but I also think that part of the show is exploring and figuring out what connection you like, and part of that exploration causes the drama to begin with. I feel like they took a while to figure out exploration has been an issue because I feel like we got into the second week, everyone felt super safe in their couple, and I think that even before then they should have started testing the couples. That is a big component of Love Island itself, the phrase test, because it's important to figure out, is this the person that I feel like I have a strong connection. A lot of the times the rhetoric on the show is I need to test my couple to figure out if it is good. If there is something missing, can I get a better connection? There is a certain amount of bombshells, especially if they know that people aren't exploring. Usually they try to cut through that because it makes a very boring season, because there is no element of conflict of, do you really like me? Do you really want to be with me? Or are you just looking for the next thing? And I just feel like there was that mindset of, let me just stick with my couple because no one else is exploring. And I think that was a similar issue there was last season, where people felt uncomfortable exploring. And if it just continues, it will get worse, because a big component of the show is exploring and seeing what comes of that. It is very easy to just stick in a couple that you feel like, okay, I can just coast on this. That is a thing that has come up before, where people are just like, oh, this person's just comfortable, oh, this person's just coasting, and it feels like you're playing a game. Usually what ends up happening is bombshells come in, and there was none this season where a bombshell came in and there was a date already assigned. Typically what sometimes they have in the middle of the season, so that the bombshells can have separate times with the Islanders, is they will rank, like they will have 3 Islanders they get to pick to go on a date with, and they'll pick 3 of them and in like a ranking, like first, second, third, and they will go on dates with them outside of the villa, and they will get a one-on-one opportunity to explore someone new. This gives not only the bombshell a proper opportunity to potentially make a new connection, but then also for the Islander to not feel like they have someone watching them. If this person is their type, if this person matches them, if they feel like they have chemistry, they're given this opportunity away from people to be able to see if that works. I feel like that is such a big component as to why this season did so bad, because it isn't nice to see someone explore a new connection right in front of you. I feel like a lot of these couples, even the winners of this season, really got to test their connection beyond Casa. They didn't really get their types sent in. Usually what happens, the Islanders types get sent in specifically for them so that they could explore and then see if they find a new connection with someone else, or if they really do enjoy the connection that they currently have. I also think that we can feel the online discourse seep into the show, because you can hear the jokes that are made online being said in the villa. There being no real reason as to how they would get that information. I just feel like I understand that it's a show and they want things to work out and they want things to get better, or they want things to be appealing for the public, but I just feel like they're overcorrecting the Islanders. I just think that if someone feels natural on camera, then people will feel them naturally. If someone likes their personality, they will like their personality. I don't think it should be pushed. It is uncomfortable to be on TV and you know that they're being filmed, and sometimes they can even see the cameras filming them. So it is hard to have conversations where you're opening up knowing that people are watching. But also, if you don't show your personality, if you don't show who you are, it's harder to get time, and it's also harder for the audience to connect with you. So I feel like overcorrecting didn't really help, and you could feel they were anticipating, oh, if I have this arc and if I do this, then maybe I will end up being successful. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a show about people wanting to build connections. It's more about what happens afterwards. So are they going to be making money, or how much money are they going to be making? What is their follower count? It works out if you are in a long-term couple and there were no back and forths about coupling, about did this person hurt your feelings. People want to pretend like everything has to be smooth sailing for it to be a good couple, but I feel like the end matters more than the beginning, and that can only really happen with one couple where they're perfectly fine and maybe they explored a bit but then they went back together. That typically on a season only happens once. So when that happens multiple times, it just lacks that depth, because there isn't the arc where one person gets betrayed but then they find their new connection and it was actually worth it because that was the person that they were meant to be with the whole time. Or what's so disappointing with the show is there is a disconnect between people who've watched the show long time and new viewers of the franchise. There is a lot of critique online. This is an online show. Before Love Island USA became popular, originally hashtag Love Island was used every single day to talk about and make fun of Islanders. A big component of the culture, half of the show, is the audience responding to what's happening every episode, and then production responding back to that to tweak the show to make it more appealing for the audience. I think we have to recognize that the original show had significant amounts of mental health concerns coming from Islanders. I realized how bad the online harassment has gotten. If you get a bad edit, then people online are cruel. They're going to go in if they're going to get a villain edit. And maybe the worst thing that's going to happen is that they're going to get kicked off on the first episode. There's always going to have to be a villain in every season for people to hate on, and they don't ever provide counseling. They don't ever provide or even change the dynamics of the show to make sure that people don't go through the same types of hate. One of the things they do is just say, hey guys, let's not be, mean. The way that they set up the show to kind of feed into each other. So these horrible fans that continue to watch the show, continue to pay attention, to continue to tap in every single day, comment on the show, is what keeps the program going. And then the show course corrects itself so that it can appeal to those people. And not everyone who's watching the show has perfect politics, because there's such black and white thinking with people online, because it is such a quick reactionary type of response, because people are literally tweeting while they're watching, because it's originally a cable show. So there would be ads in the middle, and that would be time for people to literally tweet what just happened and be able to comment and respond to each other in the moment while they're feeling the feelings, versus taking a couple seconds or a minute or 2 hours after the show is on. And that is part of the culture and why it is still today on something like a different franchise like Love Island USA. Especially when things blow up, it gets so reactionary, and also people have an incentive to just say whatever, say toxic opinions, to say problematic things, to to overreact because they know that there is a market for people to just say whatever they feel like. The show attracts such horrible people to watch the show because you have to have so much spare time on your hands. You have to be able to watch 1 hour every single day, almost like 5 to 6 days a week. You have to keep up, you have to be consistent, or else you're gonna fall behind. And it's for at least a month and a half. So imagine what that does to you when you get so comfortable in that. I feel like a lot of people also, afterwards the show finishes, they don't just leave it there, critique people, say, but you know what, this person's human, you know, they can make mistakes and these are their mistakes and hopefully they learn, or this is problematic for this reason. People become very disgusting. They end up dogpiling people. And what's so much worse in the past 2 seasons with Love Island, especially now seeing this season, that companies get involved with dogpiling islanders, seeing the rhetoric online, and they see how much money it can bring them in and how much views and marketing they can get out of following along with what people online, specifically people on Twitter, say about the show. Follow like the villain edit or of like what happened last season with, you know, Shelly and the knuckle sandwich incident, or this season with Casey and TT when it comes to him being feminized and her being masculinized. Is it not enough that they have sponsored parts of the show, but they also want to participate in the dogpiling? I just feel like that is part of the initial culture, but I feel like it is now like exceeded what it originally was, where it was people who are online and mostly anonymous using this as an outlet to kind of say what they want about people and say you're a horrible person or you're disgusting and you don't deserve this following, versus now companies partaking in it. I just don't know how they think that this is good on their own image as a brand, because you're literally participating in a harassment campaign against a person who does not have the resources or ability to defend it. When they come out, they end up getting blindsided by the reaction, and I feel like it's okay to be a little bit empathetic. Even if that person didn't do the best, why would they apologize after when they come out and realize like a whole country hates them, or it makes them feel like a whole country hates them? Imagine going online and then seeing big companies participate in your hatred. I feel like that's the scary part. I just feel like this show has gone to a very scary route. Before, people would be able to just drop off the season and then just be like, okay, we'll wait for next season. Or people used to just follow their favorite islanders. And sometimes people would linger, but it just feels like people stay much longer and they just continue to bring stuff up and they continue to just fuel that harassment. It just never leaves. It never ends. And that's the scary part, because at what point will people stop? At what point will production get involved